The man was hunting when he noticed something terrible. A hunched form suddenly appeared not far away. He knew just by looking at it what he had encountered. So the father and son rushed to hide in the hunter's cabin. Then the man told Blake to make sure he kept quiet. But a few seconds later heavy footsteps sounded outside. The man hurriedly aimed his gun in the direction of the sound. It was his first encounter with a monster in 20 years of hunting. His hands trembled slightly with nervousness. The air was filled with a scent that suffocated him. It was as if the monster was about to break through the door. The man realized it was a matter of life and death, but he didn't expect it, just as he was about to die. But for some reason the monster turned away. Only after a long time did the man slowly stand up. The scratches on the wooden planks were clearly visible, but the monster was no longer around. But he still raised his sniper rifle to observe. But the next second, he still saw a flash of the monster, although it didn't hit it. But the hissing sound was still slowly far away. Only then did the man breathe a sigh of relief. When confronted by his son's questioning, he lied that it was a bear. Everything looked too weird, so the boy didn't believe it was a bear at all. So he snuck down to the basement. He overheard his father's conversation with someone. It turns out that today they met the legendary werewolf. And at this point, Blake didn't know. One day this would become his nightmare. 30 years passed. He had already grown up and moved to the big city. He had forgotten all about the legend of the werewolf. But what he didn't know was this. An email reminded him of that farm. It turned out that Blake's father had died. The key to his old home was sent to him by a neighbor. Thinking he hadn't been back in years, so he rushed back with his wife and daughter. Along the way they were all very excited. But soon Blake realized the old road up the mountain was actually closed. Just when he didn't know what to do, it just so happened that a hunter passed by. Since he was Blake's childhood friend, so the hunter got into his car and showed Blake the way. Soon they arrived at the old house, but then something unexpected happened. Luckily, the truck was stopped by a tree trunk. The hunter tried to open the car door, but then he fell from a height of several meters. At this point the family was in a state of shock and disarray, at Blake's request, so his daughter and wife risked climbing to the top. However, it was at this time, suddenly a low hissing sound came out. Then Blake saw a monster in the rearview mirror. Seeing that the monster was close to him, so he hurriedly unbuckled his seatbelt. Then he tried his best to close the car door. At this time the injured hunter was still struggling, but the next second, an arm suddenly broke the car glass. At the same time Blake was also cut. A scream immediately attracted his attention. The hunter was actually pulled away by the monster. Then the low roar got farther and farther away. It seems that the monster has gone far away. Blake rushed to rescue Jenny and his daughter, because this is near the old house, so they found it easily. However, just at this time, the monster's low roar came again, so the family had to run as fast as they could. Luckily, at the critical moment, Blake used the key to open the door in time. When the monster was about to pounce on them, they rushed in smoothly. They successfully stopped the monster outside the house.